Legend of the Seas, set to launch in 2026, is already being hailed as the largest, most advanced, and most luxurious cruise ship ever constructed, and when one attempts to describe it in words, the task feels monumental because this vessel is not only a feat of engineering but also a floating world of wonder that stretches the imagination, measuring an extraordinary 370 meters from bow to stern, rising with 18 decks stacked like gleaming layers of glass and steel, weighing more than 250,800 gross tons, and accommodating up to 7,600 passengers along with over 2,300 crew members who together form the lifeblood of this modern seaborne metropolis. And what makes the Legend of the Seas extraordinary is not simply its massive scale but the way every inch of it has been designed to offer an experience that transcends ordinary travel, beginning from the very first moment a guest steps aboard and enters a breathtaking multi-level promenade that is less a corridor and more a futuristic boulevard, lined with boutiques that gleam with designer fashion, jewelry shops sparkling under artful lighting, coffee houses that blend the aromas of roasted beans with the sweetness of fresh pastries, and lounges filled with the murmur of conversation, while overhead a stunning glass dome filters natural sunlight by day and at night transforms into a canopy of stars created by thousands of fiber optic points of light, making passengers feel as though they are strolling beneath a cosmic sky. And this sense of theatricality permeates the ship, where everything from dining to entertainment has been amplified to match the grandeur of the vessel itself. For here are 23 restaurants offering a culinary journey that rivals the world's great cities. One evening guests may dine in a fine French bistro where escargot and foie gras are paired with rare vintages. The next they may savor the fire and spice of an authentic Mexican cantina, or gather with family around wood-fired pizzas in a rustic Italian trattoria, or perhaps indulge in the elegance of a Michelin-starred tasting menu prepared by celebrity chefs collaborating with Royal Caribbean to ensure every meal is both an adventure and a memory. While for those seeking informality, the ship offers international buffets, street food-inspired venues, vegan cafes, and even late-night dessert bars where chocolate fountains flow and gelato comes in dozens of inventive flavors. Yet dining is only one element of the Legend's promise, for scattered across its vast decks are 21 themed bars and lounges, each a world unto itself. There is the Sky Bar that hovers open air above the sea, where sunsets are toasted with champagne while the horizon burns orange and gold, the Speakeasy Jazz Club where the smooth notes of saxophones curl into smoky shadows, the Ice Lounge where walls and sculptures glow a cool blue and cocktails are served in glasses of frozen crystal, and the Tropical Rum Shack where live Caribbean steel drums carry guests late into the night. And as day becomes evening, the ship pulses with entertainment on a scale never before attempted at sea, centered around the AquaDome, a crown-like structure of glass and steel perched atop the vessel, where water, air, light, and human artistry merge into nightly shows featuring high divers leaping from dizzying heights, synchronized swimmers dancing across liquid stages, acrobats twisting through the air while digital projections and immersive soundscapes create experiences that rival Broadway or Las Vegas. And nearby stands the Pearl, a spherical entertainment hub that blends live music, immersive theater, interactive art installations, and virtual reality environments into one continuous sensory journey, while families flock to the Category 6 water park, the largest at sea, with 6 record-breaking slides including the tallest drop slide ever attempted on a vessel, and thrill-seekers strap in for the crown's edge, a part skywalk, part zipline experience that dares guests to step literally off the edge of the ship and glide above the ocean, heart-pounding as waves crash far below. And when the adrenaline ebbs, relaxation awaits at Royal Bay, the largest swimming pool ever to float on the ocean, a shimmering expanse surrounded by private cabanas, swim-up bars, and endless loungers where sunbathers sip cool drinks and lose themselves in novels as children splash happily nearby. And even beyond these headline attractions, the Legend of the Seas offers entire neighborhoods dedicated to family fun, from futuristic virtual reality arenas to educational science labs for children, teen lounges pulsing with music and gaming consoles, and serene adults-only solariums where waterfalls cascade down glass walls and soft music drifts through the air, while the accommodations themselves represent a triumph of design, offering everything from efficient staterooms with ocean view windows to palatial suites larger than many apartments, complete with multi-level layouts, spiral staircases, private hot tubs, and even in some cases private pools that blur the line between sea and sky. And at the top end, villa suites create havens of luxury where families can gather around private dining tables for meals prepared by personal chefs, or retreat to terraces with double-height windows framing the endless blue of the sea. And yet despite this overwhelming indulgence, the Legend of the Seas is also a ship deeply committed to the future of the planet it sails upon, for Royal Caribbean has designed it to be its most sustainable vessel yet, powered primarily by liquefied natural gas, supplemented by fuel cells and energy recovery systems that recycle waste heat into usable energy, with state-of-the-art water treatment plants ensuring every drop used aboard is purified and reused with minimal environmental impact, and advanced waste management systems turning refuse into energy or safe byproducts, all of which aligns with Royal Caribbean's ambitious commitment to net zero emissions by 2035, meaning that this behemoth, though vast, sails with a surprisingly light footprint across fragile marine ecosystems. Its itineraries are equally ambitious, beginning in August 2026 with 7-night Western Mediterranean voyages departing from Barcelona, carrying passengers to the historic streets of Rome, the sunlit cliffs of Naples, the lavender fields near Marseille, and the beaches of Palma de Mallorca, combining old world culture with new world luxury. And by November 2026, the ship will make its way across the Atlantic to Fort Lauderdale, from where it will embark on alternating Caribbean voyages, touching the golden sands of Aruba, the turquoise waters of St. Kitts, the vibrant rhythms of Cozumel, and of course Royal Caribbean's own perfect day at CocoCay, a private island paradise in the Bahamas that already epitomizes the brand's philosophy of mixing thrill and chill, with record-breaking water slides, helium balloon rides, and overwater cabanas offering seclusion just steps from excitement. And for passengers, these journeys are not simply cruises but total experiences, where days are filled with sunlit adventures ashore and nights with spectacles at sea, all framed by the comfort of returning to what feels like a futuristic floating city that never sleeps, where there is always another corner to discover, another flavor to taste, another performance to watch, another friend to meet. The cultural significance of the Legend of the Seas cannot be overstated either, because cruise ships have long symbolized the height of leisure travel, and each new class of ship marks a new era. As Oasis of the Seas once redefined mega ships in 2009, and Icon of the Seas redefined family entertainment in 2024, so now Legend of the Seas in 2026 aims to redefine the balance between size, spectacle, sustainability, and sophistication, standing as both a destination in itself and a beacon of what the future of cruising can and should be. And already anticipation runs high among both seasoned travelers and first-time cruisers, as bookings for its inaugural season fill with record speed. Travel magazines dedicate covers to its design, documentaries profile its construction, and social media buzzes with previews of cabins, pools, slides, and theaters, making the ship a legend even before it has sailed. And when at last its horn bellows across the waters on its maiden voyage, carrying thousands of passengers into a Mediterranean sunset, it will not merely mark the launch of another ship but the start of a new chapter in human imagination, where hospitality, technology, and adventure converge on the open seas. And the grandeur of the Legend of the Seas is further emphasized by the sheer scale of its construction story, because building a ship of this magnitude was not simply about scaling up existing blueprints but about reimagining what a vessel could be, requiring shipyards in Finland to collaborate with hundreds of global suppliers, designers, naval architects, and engineers, each bringing specialized knowledge to ensure that every rivet, every panel, and every technological system was not only safe but cutting edge, and the process itself became a symbol of international collaboration, with steel arriving from multiple continents, art installations commissioned from renowned global artists, and custom furniture designed by craftsmen whose work normally graces five-star hotels, all coming together in an orchestration as complex as a symphony. And for the engineers, the challenge was not only to build bigger but to build smarter, incorporating artificial intelligence into navigation systems, advanced stabilizers that reduce motion even in choppy seas, and a digital twin system, a virtual replica of the ship that constantly monitors performance, predicting maintenance needs before issues arise, ensuring that the Legend of the Seas operates with both efficiency and reliability. Passengers may not see these invisible technologies directly, but they experience their results in smoother journeys, faster embarkation and disembarkation processes facilitated by facial recognition and automated luggage systems, and smart staterooms that respond to voice commands, adjusting lighting, temperature, and entertainment seamlessly, all of which makes life aboard not only luxurious but effortless, for the very ethos of the Legend of the Seas is to remove friction from the vacation experience, to create a world where guests can focus entirely on joy, discovery, and relaxation. Beyond its technical marvels, the ship is also a canvas of culture, because Royal Caribbean has integrated art into its DNA, with thousands of commissioned pieces scattered across decks, giant kinetic sculptures that move with ocean breezes, digital murals that transform according to time of day, and traditional paintings that celebrate maritime history, ensuring that every hallway becomes a gallery, every stairwell a discovery, and passengers often find themselves pausing mid-journey not for directions but to admire yet another unexpected artistic encounter, and this attention to detail extends into the smallest corners. Elevator panels etched with nautical constellations, carpeting patterned with abstract ocean waves, door handles shaped like sea creatures, all subtle reminders that this is not just transportation, but immersion into a theme, the eternal dialogue between humankind and the sea. Entertainment on the Legend of the Seas does not merely repeat the formulas of past cruise ships but evolves them into multi-dimensional experiences, for in addition to the AquaDome and Pearl, the ship houses a full-scale Broadway-style theater where shows debut before transferring to land, ensuring passengers are the first audiences to witness groundbreaking performances, and nearby is a grand ice skating rink where Olympic-level skaters dazzle with routines that combine artistry, acrobatics, and multimedia storytelling, while comedy clubs, piano lounges, and karaoke bars ensure that laughter and participation spill into every corner of the evening, creating a rhythm where passengers can choose between spectacle and intimacy depending on their mood. And if the entertainment options feel overwhelming, that is by design, because the philosophy of the Legend is choice. Whether one wishes to spend a day scaling a climbing wall overlooking the sea, meditating in a glass-walled yoga studio at sunrise, indulging in a spa treatment using sea-inspired minerals, or simply lying on deck chairs with nothing but the horizon for company, the ship offers endless possibilities, a kaleidoscope of options that reflect the diversity of its passengers. Speaking of passengers, the Legend of the Seas has been conceived as an inclusive vessel, with entire accessibility frameworks built into its design. Ramps, wide corridors, voice-assisted elevators, braille signage, and staff trained in multiple languages and disability assistance programs ensure that everyone, regardless of mobility, age, or background, can experience the ship's wonders equally, turning it into a genuine floating city that mirrors the values of accessibility and inclusivity increasingly demanded by modern travelers. And when the ship arrives at its destinations, passengers are treated not only to excursions but to curated adventures designed to integrate seamlessly with onboard experiences, whether it's wine tasting in Provence that connects with French dining onboard, flamenco lessons in Spain that continue as performances on deck, or reef conservation tours in the Caribbean that echo the ship's own sustainability initiatives, creating a holistic travel experience where land and sea complement one another, expanding the narrative of the voyage beyond simple sightseeing into cultural immersion. But for all its luxury, entertainment, and spectacle, perhaps the greatest legacy of the Legend of the Seas will be its role in changing perceptions of cruising itself, because historically cruise travel was once thought of as a slow, leisurely pastime for retirees, but ships like the Legend demonstrate that it has become the frontier of innovation, where new technologies are tested, new cultural forms are staged, and new standards of hospitality are created, influencing not just future ships but hotels, resorts, and even urban design, since lessons learned from managing energy, waste, and community dynamics on a ship with 10,000 people aboard can translate into sustainable solutions for cities on land. Indeed, scholars and industry analysts are already studying the Legend as a case study in sustainability and scale, pointing out that its LNG propulsion systems, its fuel cell experiments, and its zero-waste kitchens may set precedents for industries far beyond cruising. And in this sense, the ship's legend extends into fields of science, engineering, and environmentalism, just as much as into tourism. Passengers embarking in 2026 may think they are signing up for a holiday, but in truth they are stepping into a microcosm of the future, where humanity's creativity, indulgence, and responsibility converge, and where every deck, from the bustling promenade to the quiet observation lounges high above the bow, tells a story not only of what is but of what is possible when imagination and ambition meet the endless canvas of the sea. And as the legend of the seas prepares to enter service, its very name resonates with symbolic weight, because to call a ship a legend is to acknowledge its role not only as a marvel of engineering but as a cultural icon, something destined to be remembered, and already travel writers, documentary crews, and maritime historians are preparing to chronicle its first voyages, recognizing that these journeys will be milestones in seafaring history, and for the passengers lucky enough to be on its inaugural sailings, there will be a sense of participating in history itself, much as travelers once felt boarding the Titanic or the Queen Mary, though this time with the confidence of cutting-edge safety systems, redundancies, and technology ensuring that grandeur is matched by security. And part of the ship's legend will be the stories told by those first voyagers, families marveling at their children's faces as they ride the tallest slide at sea, couples clinking glasses under starlight in the open-air sky bar, elderly passengers remembering past cruises while acknowledging that none have ever approached this scale of wonder, and crew members who dedicate months and years to creating seamless hospitality, becoming the unseen heroes who animate this floating city. The legend of the seas is thus more than steel, glass, and technology. It is also human, animated by thousands of people whose work, joy, and stories weave together into a living fabric. And when one thinks of its future, one imagines not only the journeys it will take across oceans but the lives it will touch, the anniversaries celebrated aboard, the friendships formed at poolside, the proposals made at sunset, the weddings conducted beneath domes of glass, and the generations of passengers who will return again and again, carrying with them the memory that once, in 2026, a ship set sail that was unlike any before, and that ship was called the Legend of the Seas, a name destined to endure in the collective imagination of travelers everywhere.